we're having some technical difficulties. But as you can see, we figured out a way to do this. I have her on Facebook Live. I mean, I have her on what is it? FaceTime. And I was like, we're going to get this interview in today. And I promise I will have you on again in the future when we can get this technical difficulties figured out. So today, wait, I want to make sure everybody can see you. Turning it. Yeah. We don't want to turn you off, though. No. Okay. So everybody, please meet Saliha Nelson, another friend. But you notice, again, I'm interviewing all of my friends. And executive director of Urgent Inc., which is a youth-based organization here in my beloved Overtown. It's very interesting. This morning, MSNBC had Jeffrey Canada on, as well as some others talking about how youth are being impacted by the pandemic. And it's very interesting that this young lady has been at the front lines of serving youth, helping youth, particularly youth that are benefactors of unfortunate circumstances with their parents, like unemployment, health issues, things of that nature. So she really can bring to the plate some knowledge about that, as well as how to maneuver as a nonprofit in this space. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Stephanie Van Vark, and I am a small business owner. And the purpose of this show is to talk to other business owners about what they're doing during this time. And hopefully we can glean and learn some information of some things we may not have thought of. So thank you for joining me, Saliha.
Thanks for the invitation. And you gave me a reason to put on makeup today.
Me too. Do my hair.
Yes, I had a reason to get dressed and put earrings on and everything. So I appreciate it.
Okay, anytime. We were talking earlier about beauticians, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But they were talking about last night, the hair color is now becoming a challenge when it comes to finding that product. I was like, oh, there's a whole lot of women that don't want to hear that. So let me start with asking, who are you and what do you do? Tell us a little bit about Urgent Inc.
So hi everyone, I'm Saliha Nelson, and I currently am the executive director of Urgent Inc. And Urgent Inc. is a community-based organization, and we are dedicated to the mission of empowering young minds to transform their communities. And so we see young people being transformative agents in their community by doing well in their education, acting positively in their communities, engaging positively in their communities, preparing for their economic futures, and then being and contributing to the arts, and being involved in that creative space. And through our after-school, summer camp, and career development programs, we work with about 250 young people every year.
Okay. Well, you have had to, and I've sort of watched on the front line as you had to sort of make an immediate pivot during this pandemic. The schools closed, which meant that was a direct impact on youth-based organizations. You've had to do a complete overhaul administratively, as well as how you interact with your young people. Tell us a little bit about that and the challenges and the time it took for that to happen, and how you were able to overcome it.
Well, like I was saying, that we are after-school providers. And so when the schools decided to shut down, that had 100% impact on our business, because our business is in person. Or at least we thought it was, because
it may not be anymore.
We had traditionally been providing services. And so after we got over the shock and awe, like, this is really happening, my daughter keeps trying to call me. She didn't get the memo.
You can't talk right now.
So after the first week was just how can we engage with our employees remotely and figuring out, okay, how do we track time? Is everybody adjusting to this new situation? How's everyone doing? And then figuring out, okay, what work can be done remotely, and having continuous conversation with staff, developing new policies, protocols, accessing new technology and whatnot. So that really took us a week and a half to just get our bearings around that. And then we're trying to figure out, okay, how do we then still stay engaged with our families? So the immediate thing was, okay, let's begin to check in with the families, see how they're doing. And then one of our community partners was still able to provide snacks and suppers, which we provided after school anyway. So we said, okay, well, let's see if someone still needs those resources. And then so that we did the emergency kind of work at that point, while at the same time starting to research, okay, how are other after-school programs adjusting to potentially providing services to parents and children now that they are home? And so we did a survey of the landscape and saw what some other folks were doing. And then we began to research the technology that we needed to use to engage online with our families. Also begin to look at our programming to see what can be adapted to an online remote learning opportunity. And then, okay, we have to develop new policies, procedures. We need to get parental consent for operating with us, online, and then connecting with families, saying, this is what we're trying out.
Right. Can you do it? Will you be able to do it? So can the industry, as you're looking at what some of your other partners are doing, some other people are doing, are you finding that the industry is adapting very quickly? Or there are some people who are able to do it better and faster and more efficiently than others?
Well, you know what they say, adapt or die. So
that's in regular situations. That has nothing to do with pandemic. That's just life as a business owner.
Exactly. So it's all about how to adapt and still be of service.
That's funny. As you can see, business still goes on. Even in a pandemic and during an interview. The one thing you have to know is not me calling. It usually would be me, but it's not me calling this time. It's not me calling. I tell you, it's
never a dull moment. No one read my memo this morning.
Right. Don't call me between 10 o'clock. So tell us, did you have an emergency plan in place? I know, I've talked to I've talked to 3 business owners now, and this is definitely outside the realm of anything we would ever imagine. But did you have some semblance of emergency plan? Is that something that as a nonprofit, your funders are sort of requiring of you, a risk management process?
Yeah, we have to have in place a contingency operation plan. And we have to submit. Am I there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a contingency of operations plan, but in Florida, what is it centered around? It's
hurricanes.
Really centered around hurricanes.
Absolutely.
Which is a limited, kind of experience, and then you're waiting for your electric to come back on.
Right.
Unless you lose a roof, knock on wood. So.
Are you able to pull some of that information into what you're doing today, or it really was not applicable at all?
Really, not too much was applicable, except that we had a way to communicate with staff.
Okay.
And the great thing, about it is that we still had internet and Wi-Fi and things of that nature. Now, if we didn't have that, it would have been total disconnect.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. So we're fortunate, unlike a hurricane, is that we still had connectivity. So that still enabled us to connect with our servers, connect with other staff and whatnot. And then, like I said, I spent the first week or two just adapting our remote work policies and procedures and how to continue operations. And so that was really the crux of, what we had to do as an organization for the first 2 weeks and get everybody up to speed on how we were communicating, how we were holding each other accountable, and how we were going to begin providing remote learning opportunities for our young people.
So as you are incorporating some of these things and putting some of these new policies and procedures in place, are you sort of differentiating, okay, I think this is something we will keep, we will pivot in this direction, or, this is just for the purposes of staying alive during these couple of weeks that we're going through what we're going through?
Well, this is a great opportunity, actually, because the way I'm looking at it is we have an opportunity to really expand our base and to build out a new service as part of what we're able to do here at Urgent Inc. So really, it's a vertical. So we're just adding this element. I can see we adding this element continually as a growth opportunity for the organization to be able to connect with a broader audience of young people, who knows, internationally. Wants to get our bearings on how we're providing services to our current young people. Okay.
Well, I happen to know, have to be good fortune of knowing your organization pretty well, and know that you've had some strategies in place, some ideas in place, some things you would like to do in the next year, 5 years, 10 years. Has this put a monkey wrench in any of those plans? I'll let you share what you would like to share, but has this put a monkey wrench in any of those plans in a positive, negative way? And, how do you, after this, get back on track?
Well, actually, it's accelerated our plans.
Oh, okay, good.
So it's really pushing us to move quicker.
Okay.
And so that's a great thing. I've been able to be so productive at home. It's amazing.
I know. It's like, that's a whole nother conversation.
And that's despite having 2 college students back in the house.
In your house.
Okay, so...
I think work in general, as we know it, will change. It will absolutely change.
Yeah, I really see a whole bunch of people downsizing their office space.
Right?
It might become really cheap real quick, so I don't know.
Look, if I can communicate with you on a camera, we don't need the office space. My house is enough.
And that would, and if the office space goes down, that really accelerates our growth too, because that's been a barrier to some of the growth for us. So
exactly,
I can, I'm just waiting for that market shift.
Exactly. It's going to be interesting to see, and I think it'll make a difference as to whether we get back into the world on May 1st or June 1st, because by June 1st, it's a wrap. Killing their contract. We can function.
Well, I'm trying to use all of this, time to think, to innovate, and then really execute on some of the ideas that I just wasn't able to do prior to. I can't even say it's a slowdown, but it's a shift in the way that we're working.
Okay.
And it's really forced all of our staff to really level up on the use of technology, on the best, learn about the best practices and relates to remote learning. And both of those things actually will help us even when we get back face to face.
Okay.
Good. So good. Like one of the things that young people told us is that, we want to know the other kids in Urgent Inc.'s programs, right? And across sites. So guess what? This technology is letting all of our young people interface with each other. So it's very cool. Okay. And it's going to be interesting to see how we're going to be able to keep the integration and kind of build that infrastructure. So that's just business as usual moving forward.
Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about the money. I know I've spoken to several for-profit businesses, many of whom have applied for the Paycheck Protection Program, the SBA emergency loan, the bridge loan, almost every loan imaginable to man.
All the help we can get.
All the help we can get.
Yes.
None of which have received anything at this point, but that's okay. We're all hopeful. First of all, can nonprofits apply for those kinds of emergency measures? Have there been other opportunities afforded to you as a nonprofit? And what have been some of those challenges in maneuvering that understanding of trying to secure funding?
So the only reason I don't have a full head of gray hair is we have a great funding partner in the Children's Trust.
Okay.
And they have been very flexible
Good.
with this new normal, and have told us that as long as we are making moves to still be of service, we can continue billing operations.
Great. Are you finding that across the board with most funders, or are you having to negotiate with some people around the space?
We're still waiting to hear back from a couple of our government funders that they haven't really clued us in on what they are doing exactly. Mm-hmm. They just asked for our plans, our modified plans based on the COVID-19 response. Mm-hmm. So we're still waiting to see what they're going to do.
So locally, you're finding the grassroots support you need, but from a federal point of view, there's a lot of confusion.
I think they're probably saying, how can we still hold organizations accountable even though what they're contracted to do can't be delivered as originally intended. So we'll see. I'm optimistic. There's been a push in the broader philanthropic and funding community to be flexible, to allow organizations to be responsive in a way that they can figure out. So I see that being very positive in the funding community. So that's helpful. And our main funder has been very amenable to us problem solving. So that has been good. In the meantime, because you never know when things can change, yes, fortunately, nonprofits are able to apply for those emergency funds. So that was just another thing that we had to do when that opportunity came. When that opportunity opened up. So we've got all our applications in, and I'm bugging my banker daily.
Right. And that's been one of those conversations too we had. I remember we had this conversation with Nicole, is being prepared. You talked about, you've been talking to your banker daily. You need to have a banker. You need to have all your books and information in a row. I think with the nonprofit, I think that's just par for the course. You're better at it than I think most for-profits.
All of that stuff that they wanted anyway. Fortunately, my finance manager had already been working remotely. So everything was available for me, digitally. So that was an opportunity. So she was ahead of the curve.
So it seems like for-profits can learn some stuff from nonprofits because of the record keeping that you're required to do anyway. Because many of us are like, wait, where are we supposed to get this information from?
We all had it in various folders and we just had to put the package together.
Right, exactly.
It only took me like 3 days to turn it around.
Exactly. Good. So that's good information to know. So let's talk a little bit personally. What are your feelings, I guess, about what this new normal is all about? I believe, and I've known you for a long time. Urgent Inc. has been in existence now for 26 years, and you've been sort of on the forefront of this. What are your feelings about you personally as a business owner? What space are you feeling you are in, prior to and going into this new normal?
Well, I was already in the headspace, of having a growth mindset. So,
and that has not changed.
That has not changed.
Good.
So, whereas fortunately, this is a luxury and a privilege that I'm not in like survival mode.
Right.
Like a lot of folks in different industries have been thrown into that space.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And we could have, as an organization, been thrown in that space as well, were it not for our funders.
Right.
So for us, we're just very fortunate to be able to still not only sustain, but even think forward.
Yeah, this is a transition period. I think a lot of people are sort of thinking at, with for-profit, some people are thinking about different products. Should they be in this industry? I know in the marketing world, we're having some of those conversations because a lot of that in our space has really dried up. My husband works production and he hasn't had a job since this all started. I am interested what your colleagues are also saying and thinking about as you're talking to your partners. Are they feeling optimistic about moving forward and being able to provide service to the community, or are some of them also experiencing some emotional challenges, some identity challenges, things of that nature?
Well, talking to some of my colleagues really has been limited, because we were all just kind of figuring out, how to adapt to the new normal. Mm-hmm. And what did it mean for organizations. So really everyone was just kind of in the trenches,
okay.
Doing what they needed to do to survive in this climate, and also problem solve, with their board of directors, problem solve with their funders, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. and then still maintain that connectivity, with their young people. So, we're all kind of just down there, at the grassroots level, just really trying to make it work. But a couple of positive things that have happened is that we've been able to share resources, mm-hmm. Share some best practices, and keep each other in the loop of what we're doing. So that has been very helpful, whether it's through our, WhatsApp group or mm-hmm. Email connection. So that's been very helpful. So you're not the only one out mm-hmm. there.
Absolutely.
That's trying to figure out these problems by yourself.
Absolutely. And do you think there are some things that nonprofits can learn from for-profits during this process, and for-profits likewise can learn from nonprofits? I think we've identified organizing your records, having an emergency plan. Let's start there. Anything else you want to add to that list? We need to learn from nonprofits.
Unfortunately, nonprofits, sometimes we tend to work in silos.
Absolutely.
So, we don't really interface with a lot of for-profit folks. So I'm not really sure. But what I do know is that everyone's had to be innovative, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. And really level up their use of technology, mm-hmm. and really be problem solvers, So if there's something that you don't know, you just got to find it,
right? Right.
Call someone, email them, Google it, So it's really been a test on,
right.
We got to make this work.
And so when you get back into the day-to-day, we finally get past this, will you continue to sort of incorporate this online platform as well as the face-to-face platform and just really create this new dynamic that could be very successful for your program?
That's the intent.
Okay.
As I tell my staff, as they're developing and piloting, our remote learning, is to think forward, not just think about, this afternoon's connection. Just
right.
Think forward. And my job, as on the executive team, is about, okay, what structure, what infrastructure can I put in place so that we keep this opportunity growing, mm-hmm. when we shift back,
okay.
right?
Okay.
And so that's my job, to figure out that infrastructure,
okay.
And put in place the requirements of what staff needs to do moving forward, so that we're not going to lose all of these efforts and these skills.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We had to do a little workaround, but I love the flexibility. we'll keep this working. And again, I will have you back on the show where we can figure out this technology. Before we leave,
we'll do a run through.
Exactly.
I know what I'm doing.
Exactly. Let's make sure, because it's funny, we both found out we were sitting on the platform waiting for each other, but we didn't see each other. So we were ready. We were ready. I want you to know we were ready. Before you leave, can you tell us where we can find you? And, you know, if we want to provide support or just know more about the program, where can we find out more about Urgent Inc.?
Sure. Urgent Inc.'s on social media channels of Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Urgent Inc. So you can find us, just Google Urgent Inc. and all our social media will pop up. Matter of fact, we have some really cute what you can do during quarantine video challenges posted from our kids on Facebook and Instagram. So take an opportunity and look at some of the cute videos our young people have put together on how they are occupying their time during quarantine.
They're at least innovative. You said be innovative.
Go to our website, www.urgentinc.org, for more information.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I really appreciate it. And stay safe, stay sane. With 2 college students in the house. And if you have to go out, stay covered up. You saw my face. I was like, no, we got to make sure we're safe. And I look forward to when we can meet again and chat again in person.
All right. Thanks for the invite. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Let's see. Here we go. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. As I mentioned, we'll figure out how to put this show on for you. And we hope it's a wealth of information and knowledge, and we'll keep it coming, that especially for small business owners or people who are thinking about getting in the small business space. That is the intent for doing this show on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I was asked by a friend if we only interview women, and no, we don't. As tomorrow, we will have our first male entrepreneur on. His name is Orlando Espinoza. His company is M&AO Marketing. He's also been a friend, but a mentor as well. And someone that I have had many conversations about problem solving with. So I think he will be a wonderful source of learning a lot about what's going on. And actually was one of the first people that helped me through a webinar differentiate and understand the different loan and grant opportunities that are out there for for-profits. So please join us again tomorrow at 10. We're going to, as soon as I hang up, we're going to practice with Orlando. Make sure we can get this right. But thank you for tuning in, and have a great day.